What is up, everybody? Welcome to the show tonight. We're here to pay the bills. Jake Micah back with first-time guest, and Gatesy and I figured out here, first time we've really ever talked, Gatesy, well, wrong way, Gatesy from Crossing Swords Pod. We are crossing over here with our Sabres and Bills, but he's going to be here popping on for Bills coverage during the year when we can, and just all over Trainwreck Sports. You know him from Sabres in 60, killing it on TikTok. Please go hit those TikToks up, and on Twitter or X, whatever. I'm never going to call it X. I was literally, the only reason it says formerly known as Twitter is because I literally typed Twitter and I was like, I can't do it, but that's where we're at, I guess. But Gatesy, thank you.
Hey, what an incredible introduction. I feel like I have to send you some money for that because you just boosted the ego a bit. I'm feeling good going to this live stream, this Bills season. I can't wait to go now. But yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So how excited are you just about the Bills season? Like in general, like we've rarely talked about the Bills. We've talked about the Sabres a bunch. And I think I do want to talk about the Sabres a little bit on the podcast. I don't care if it's a Bills podcast. That's the point of part of this podcast. As you see, we're brokering peace here. And that's the part of the way we just got to naturally let it flow into it. But how excited are you just in general going into this season based off of the vibes of the last seasons and just in totality? Like, how do you feel?
I feel like I judge a lot of my coverage of sports based on vibes. And I'm really high on the Bills right now. I feel like the vibes just seem to be there. Like every video I see of Josh Allen, no matter if it's on Twitter or podcast or whatever, he's just feeling really good. The team seems to be having a great time. The interview with Deion Dawkins on Pardon My Take was just so much fun to listen to. And the team just seems to be gelling, having a good time. And I really like that, the national media is really digging on the Bills, really boosting other AFC East teams. One of my favorite things about Buffalo is, keeping it a secret. You see that big painting on one of the buildings somewhere downtown, keep Buffalo a secret. And, the more people look over the Bills, I think that better it is for this team. People forget about them. Then they come week one against the Jets, and I cannot wait to watch that game live. It's either going to be make my week or just absolutely going to tear me down level after level if that happens on prime time. But good vibes. We're up in the clouds, having a good time. We're going to think about.
You're so right. I've thought about that about week one so many times because one of the things we talked about last week with our great guest, Jay Spence the King, and the reason we're in the clouds here, like you said, we're keeping the vibes high. We're staying above all the hate and all the. Last year, it was the first year, my first year, and your first year covering the Sabres too, but vibes were sky high for the Sabres. We had the exact opposite experience. Covering the Bills, it was just like from very serious things to like very petty things too. So it was just a range of different things. But going into this season, it's like, how could you not think that? How could you not think it could go up from what they had to deal with? Like they were all so drained. The pieces are there. It feels good. I don't know. I feel pretty good right now.
And you look at the roster, it's like, what more do you want to have done to the team before the season starts? Like, obviously people want Hopkins to come and whatnot, but like realistically looking at the roster, it's stay healthy. I mean, from the faults from last year, I think right now it's just staying healthy going week to week. Like that's something you just be excited about is watching this team play actual football again this weekend in Pittsburgh with starters on the field.
Yeah.
It could be fun.
Yeah, so starters playing for about a quarter and a half, I think they said, maybe about a little bit into the second quarter. So that could be like they say into the second quarter, that could be one play into the second quarter and they take them off. But the Bills starters will play a good chunk of the game against Pittsburgh. What is the thing you're interested to see the most, like from the offensive side specifically? Defensive side, I don't really care what we see against vanilla defense against Kenny Pickett. There's weapons that we want to see. Like, who are you most excited to see?
Yeah. I mean, first off, I'm just really excited to see Josh Allen in a game jersey, seeing live reps again. Like something about him out there in that offense, just gets something inside of me going. I just get really excited for football again. This makes me happy. Like,
did you see that throw today? Oh my gosh, there was a throw today where he steps up in the pocket, roll into his right, and then just like it's like cross body, cross field to I think it was Deontay Hardy, and it's just in stride. He walks into the end zone. I'm like, what do you even do? What do you even do? So I feel you.
I'm really excited too to see, some of the other weapons Josh uses when he's on offense. Like this past week, we saw Barkley and Kyle Allen under center, and I think it's really hard to judge what those other wide receiver positions will look like with other quarterbacks. And I'm excited to see what Josh, like, I feel like Andy Isabella has been the darling of Bill's Twitter recently.
Oh my gosh.
He catches one pass. I think Twitter might just combust down, catches the pass from Josh Allen cutting across the middle. But I don't know, I'm excited to see what he does after his reads from Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. I want to see who those 3-4 options are. Obviously, Dalton Kincaid, cannot wait to see him catch a pass. Last week, I teased a little bit, some on the field. Didn't see a catch, but that's okay. What about you? What are you feeling?
Well, I am very excited to see if Andy Isabella catches like a 3rd and 7 and like gets like 11 yards and how crazy Twitter goes for that. That is one of the things, because I know he's going to be out there with Josh Allen, and I know Josh is going to look his way. It seems like he has the favor of Josh, Andy Isabella, at this point too. Like, and when you get brought up to the podium, I don't know if that's just he's getting a lot of attention on Twitter, and that's like good on the PR team for noticing that he's getting so much attention from Bill's Mafia and everything else, but he's also just been balling out, and everybody's been saying it too. So I'm really interested to see what he looks like with the starters. But honestly, him and Hardy and Sherfield, I think we know what Kincaid is going to kind of look like when he's rolling, right? Like he's just going to be a weapon in the middle of the field. These guys, I have no idea what they're going to do on this offense.
Agreed. Like Kincaid, like I just want to see it just so it can make me happy. Like I don't really need to break down any film of that. I just want to see him catch a ball from 17, and I just watch that and repeat for the next, I don't know, 2-3 weeks, month, year, whatever.
We're gonna make the sickest like highlight cam of the 7-yard catch that Dalton Kincaid has on
a couple running blocks too. That's all I need.
Oh my god, that's it. That's the next TikTok we got to throw out there. But it's Kincaid's gonna be Kincaid to see where he lines up, how many times he's used with Knox, without Knox. I want to know. That's one of the things I'm interested in too, is when they do like one tight end, how many times is it Knox? How many times is it just Kincaid on the field? Because those are different looks. Like those are, and that's the versatility I don't think people think about a lot with the tight ends, that like they can interchange too instead of being on the field at the same time.
Yeah, and that's something I don't know if we're going to see in preseason. If Ken Dorsey's going to keep that close to his chest these next 2 weeks, and we're just going to see that week 1 or even maybe later in the season of different looks with both those guys on the field, one or the other. And I think a lot of the problems I think we're talking about on Bill's Twitter, all fantastic problems to have that I see. It's like, one, who's going to be QB2? If that's our big talking point, I'm a happy man. And it's like we have too many weapons at wide receiver. Who's going to be on the practice squad? Are they going to get picked up by another team? I feel like you look back at least years and years ago, we got one wide receiver. The national media knows we're happy people. I feel like this year there's a lot of weapons out there. The Bills are getting talked about, and it's nice to see.
And that's a great point to bring it back big picture, because that's when I look at just my general thought going into this season, like general feeling about the Bills, it's very optimistic because I've sat through so much terrible Bills football, and to know that 17, all I need is 17 and 14, honestly. Allen and Diggs they are cooking at whatever level that they've been able to the last couple of years, and playing at that level. We're going to be able to contend in any kind of game. And I don't think it's just foreign to this fan base right now to have a guy that's continuously been in that situation and continuously pulled through. And I feel like everybody's just waiting for the other shoe to drop. And I don't think there's another shoe to drop. I think they're just going to be good again. Like it might suck. They might not win the Super Bowl again, and it might just be annoying. But there's a lot of teams that have been great for 12 years and they only won one Super Bowl. Like it happens. And we're in it I'm in it for the long haul here. I don't really it has been the best ride we could have asked for at this point.
From our childhoods where I never saw him made the playoffs till I was a senior in high school, basically. It's like
that's crazy. Enjoying
everything now, and it just puts it that much under a microscope. I think of like Sabres right now. It's the team's working to get to that point, and each win's a big deal. Everyone's happy. You go on these winning streaks. But now I think the Sabres are starting to get to that almost Bills territory where winning is expected. And, it's tough as fans because, especially in Buffalo, where we've had so much sustained losing for so long that, I think it's easy to forget about that and, put that harsh spotlight on the team, which I think is good. We want to be successful. But, I mean, for most of my life, both those teams have sucked. And it's nice now just to see.
Especially the last 10,
wins.
not last 10 years, but the 2010s were pretty much just terrible all around.
Yeah, like
for Buffalo
hopefully
sports.
The Sabres drought ends soon. We saw the Bills playoff drought end, was that 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever that was. Like we're getting in the right direction, and it's nice to watch both these teams on TV.
We should have a lot of national TV Sabres appearances this year, I would imagine, or at least or they do have a couple more, right? The schedule's been out. Yeah, like it's.
They should.
I feel like they're going to get on later. The Hulu games, like people sleep on those Hulu games, but ESPN loves to put the Sabres on those Hulu games, and there's a reason for that because they know we're going to get locked into it.
Yeah,
I do feel like the Sabres this year are going to have expectations, and if they start off like 8-7-2 or something like that, people are going to be like, what the hell is going on? But that feels like a start that could very much happen to them, like with the team that is currently assembled.
That might even be a good thing because for the past 5-6 years, the team's been almost like in first place through October, and then just
just have the
give me an average start
right away.
Yeah, that'll be good. But I don't know. I both these teams, like Bills and Sabres, I feel like again are in similar spots where like you see the pieces are there. Like there's not so much you're looking to the future anymore. It's you know what's in front of you. You should know what you're going to get. And I'm glad the people of Buffalo can experience this and feel happy and feel proud of their teams again. And
that's true.
See what this year
brings. All you could really ask for. Like we said, like the 2010s. Like just have to think about. Like it's perspective. It is the beauty of perspective and life, just experience in life, is that we had to go through that, and now this is. I don't care if they just miss the playoffs like heartbreakingly next year. It is still better than 2014 when it was just the worst hockey I've ever watched like a team play in the world, like history of my life.
And like Bills Twitter definitely they don't overreact to anything. Never happens once. And the team's not going 17-0 this year. Like it's not going to happen. There's going to be losses on that schedule that are going to happen. There might be the great teams. There might be some really bad teams. And it might be terrible to go online that following week. But, it's nice that we can trust this team to bounce back, get there, and learn from those losses. I think that's a big thing on either one of Josh's or Dion Dawkins' recent interviews of like learning from losses. And I'm hoping, the losses the Bills have this year that can help them learn, get into the playoffs, and build off of that. Because last year was just so much happened toward the end of the season. I think it's really hard to put it all together there. But
and I think that when we're talking about perspective, like I love like them. Those guys definitely have a different perspective on everything too. And I feel like that's just like a big change with what you've kind of heard from them going into this season. Like they're really locked in on the work, but I feel like it's really just grateful to be there, like doing it and just it being normal, because it was never normal last year. There was never a chance to be normal from one thing to another for reasons out of their control or in their control. Like and you have to feel for a group of guys who are just continuously like managing that, and then imagining what we all know professional athletes have to do. I think that has not been. It will never be mentioned enough when you talk about the 2022, 2023 Buffalo Bills. It never will be. And it'll be forgotten, a lot of those things that they had to endure. Yeah.
And you think about too, most of that team came back this year. So those guys were able to bond even more, build off of last year's experience, grow from that. You even see in the practice, so they got, the big Lombardi in there now, working toward that. Like, I know they said that their goal, get to the playoffs, go from there, which everyone's goal. But
they skipped that now. Maybe, but it's time for a change, I guess, right?
Take that step. Like, even as fans, seeing the Bills make the playoffs, you lose that perspective. Like, you want them to go farther than that. I want to see them in the AFC Championship. I want to see them move on to the Super Bowl. Like, stuff like that is, I think becoming now expectation a bit, which, I think it's easy for that. It's hard for that not to happen when you've seen the success. You know how good this team can be. It's and now that we're in the off season or getting close to the start of the season, it's so easy to get those thoughts already going down the way, and we got 17 games to get to that point, anyways.
I feel like there's more juice this year because of the Jets and because of the Dolphins, and everybody is like, it's a very defensive, like it's defensive and like pensive group. Like everybody is just like angry, but like also needs to like be on like guard, like defending the Bills too. So it's just a lot of tension. And when we go back to that first game, it's going to be, I've like been mentally preparing because it could be amazing or it could be like, it's going to set, if they do not win that game, it sets the tone for the whole year. No matter what, we have to hear about it until November 18th or 19th when they play again in Buffalo, no matter what. Because I think the Jets are going to be pretty good and hang around. Their teams are going to be close to record no matter what happens that first game. But if the Bills lose to the Jets, it's never going to go away. And
it's gonna hang around there. And Bills' losses already are under a pretty big microscope, I think, when you look at that national media. But when it's on prime time against the Jets and Aaron Rodgers under center now for them, they're already talking. It's not the Bills' division to win anymore. Then you throw in a loss.
It was a sweep the other day on Get Up. They just said, no, not even one Bill. We're giving it all Jets.
Which again, like I think is good for the Bills.
Yes.
What year was that? 2017, 18, when they're the underdogs and they fight their way through it and get there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's bad to get that mentality back. Like they know they're the guys, but also they can fly under the radar, do their own thing. Don't have to worry about everyone and their mother talking about, every single play that they did this past week. I think that could be good for them.
True. I agree. What can we do to broker peace though? Or you got one more thing? You got one more thing?
I mean, a little bit on Bill's Twitter. One thing I really like about Bill's Twitter is there's so much infighting. I feel like within Bill's Twitter, they go back and forth. But the second one Miami's Dolphin fan account tweets one video to everyone unites. There's quote tweets left and right, noodle arm, wobbly throw, this and that. Like Bill's Twitter will go at each other, but then they'll unite just like that. Jets, Dolphins, Pats right away. Videos lined up. They got the receipts ready. And that's what I really like about Bill's Twitter compared to Sabres Twitter. Sabres Twitter seems a little bit more, I don't know how to say it. I got a little more little brother energy right now from Sabres Twitter compared to Bill's Twitter. We're trying to figure it out. A little angsty still. We got the Avril Lavigne going on.
And it doesn't even have to be with the Bills. It's also the division because there's a lot of big brother. That division is just ridiculous. So it's a lot of big brothers in the division too. So it's a lot of just that in general, I feel like.
So much of that. And I think Sabres Twitter is still trying to find, what makes us unique, because it's been so much struggle for so long. And, we take pride in the things maybe, most organizations don't, but hopefully we got a more fun team to watch this year. We can take that step up from little brother to, we can start throwing our own punches a little bit. We can be proud of the team we are. And, hopefully that doesn't bring on the infighting that I see a little bit on Bill's Twitter, about stuff this and there, because right now fans seem pretty united on that front. I think once, winning becomes an expectation, that's when punches start to be thrown online.
Yeah, I think the simple, I was thinking we needed a whole treaty. I wanted a treaty. I was thinking this whole thing, but I think it really comes down to these two things. That Sabres fans, and if you're only a Sabres fan and not a Bills fan, just remember that this team has not done anything yet. Bills fans, if you are not a Sabres fan, you are a Bills fan, just remember, according to most of you, at least general sentiment in NFL fans, you guys haven't done anything yet. Ain't won no Super Bowl. I see no rings. So neither team's done anything. You're in the same spot. Make the playoffs, win a Super Bowl. If that's the expectations we're talking about, that both people hold them both accountable. Neither of them have reached the goals. So whatever, like, you can rip each other apart all you want. It just comes down to those simple two things. So let's just not do it then.
I agree.
Like we're in the same spot.
And especially as the Sabres, hopefully continue to get better. I think we're going to see more of that back and forth between Sabres and Bills fans online as who's the better team, who should be proud of what team more and whatnot. We should get ahead of this early. We can't be having any of that what's the big saying? One Buffalo. It doesn't matter what city wins the championship first. The city will burn down. Doesn't matter who wins it second. Whoever gets there first. And I think the city just needs one at this point from one of those two teams. They've been so close so many times. Someone's got to do it. We got to unite instead of divide. A rising tide raises all ships. I think that should be what we're going here. We're high up in the clouds. Good vibes. We can't be going back and forth online about this. Yeah, we're up here. Keep all that down below.
Way
keep
up
that
here.
For the Jets fans, for the Bruins fans. Keep that down there.
And Dolphins fans. Don't forget them either.
They're a little bit below that.
I'm with it. I'm completely with it. It's just it's gonna be a fun season if you let it be a fun season. I think that's where we're at. It's gonna be a fun season if you let it be a fun season. Personally, this podcast for me, I'm gonna be happy no matter if one of them won. I would just be. I don't care. It does not. There's no race for me. There is nothing. I will be the big world's no matter what. And that's the thing is like, I don't know. I was telling you this before. Like for me, my life has always just been so intertwined with both, and I got plenty of receipts for deep Bills and Sabres early love and a lot of pain through all that time. Like I'll give them to you if anybody wants it, but it's just like that's why like this feels so much like to have it come again. And maybe it's when you do this for another 20 years and the team goes down and comes back up. Maybe that's what it is you just when you keep going on the ride, you just get more and more cynical. Maybe we're just too young, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and just as the first tape. But I don't think so. I think that I hope to think that I'll enjoy sports and just watching it like this to begin with. And this is just both these teams are going to be damn good this year, I think, no matter what. I think they're going to both be shockingly good, honestly.
Agreed. We just got to enjoy it. I think it's going to be really easy to, get lost in all the mud and the weeds online.
Lost in the sauce.
Don't get lost in the sauce. And it's easy to do, especially when you have these high expectations internally for these teams. You lose that perspective we talked about earlier of where we were years ago and how we are where we are now, and just, have that team under the microscope, root for them. Those losses will sting, but it's been a lot worse. And there's other organizations right now in both leagues who would kill to be where both these teams are at right now.
Well, the Bills are currently, I think, still third or fourth in Super Bowl odds. I don't know what the Sabres playoff odds are, but I know by the athletic metrics and those types of things, they are like projected from analytics to be one of the wild cards in there. So if all goes according to plan, like normal Buffalo sports things do, we should have a fun year. What could go wrong?
I think exactly. Both teams are so much fun to watch just on a game-to-game basis. Like, you got Josh Allen slinging it on Sundays. You got Tage Thompson ripping it down the middle every other day. Both these teams will just be so enjoyable to watch. They're long seasons. We're here till what? Bills go till January, February. Sabres go to hopefully April. May. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but yeah, like we got a lot of time. We're here in mid-August. Enjoy the ride, because before we know it, we'll be back in baseball season again, wishing for a week 1 game against the Jets for whatever happens or whatnot. Like, I don't know. Enjoy the ride now, because both teams are fun to watch. Each day should be a fun day to be a fan of Buffalo sports.
I have a really mean question to ask you, but it's something that I just thought of right now, and I don't know the answer to what I would say to it too. So I want to ask you, I want to bounce it off of you. If you could only pick one, would you pick Tage Thompson or Rasmus Dahlin? I really don't know. I think I'd pick Dahlin because I love him and I'm a defenseman at heart, but I don't know. I don't know what's the right answer either.
I would say right now, based off the Sabres roster.
No, not for the Sabres at all. Like, you're just
picking one.
You're building a franchise and you can pick Tage Thompson as your first pick or Rasmus Dahlin as your first pick. This is purely outside of the Sabres universe. Yeah,
I think you have to take Dahlin. Like, as much of a specimen unicorn that Tage is, like, one of one is size, speed, shot, truly the best. Like, Dahlin's ability to skate as a defenseman, move the puck. Now he's got that lockdown defenseman aspect to him as well. I don't know how you could really go outside of that pick for him. He's just someone you build a franchise around. The Sabres, I think, are doing that alongside Tage. It just happens you have another world-class player next to him and Tage Thompson. But, yeah, Dahlin is one of one special player, just someone that if the Sabres are going to go to that next level, it's going to be on his back doing it.
Okay. I think I'm with you. I think that's where I lean, but it's very – I think someone could make the case for Tage, and I'd be like, okay, you're right. Like 6'7" center who's going to score like maybe 100 points this year. Yeah, sure. Like he should probably be your first overall pick, but –
twist my arm, I'll take him. Like it's –
but that's where we're at, though. That's where we're at, though. Like, and then there's also, I was like, oh, should I mention Owen Power here? Because he might be the best one out of all three by the end of it. Who knows? Like,
yeah. And that's the thing with the,
I mean, not offensively, but defensively. And he might just be like the best defenseman in the league in like 5 years. And we'll be like, damn, Power. Like, who would have thought? Because he gets it right away. Got it quicker than Dali, and that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing with the Sabres team. It's like each year, they're just getting better and better, and they're getting these prospects who they've drafted high because they've been so bad for so long. Inserted in the lineup. There's going to be each year is going to be more and more fun to watch. There's so many incredible prospects. Go on Crossing Swords on the Sabres in 60, scroll through them all because there's some really fun ones to be aware of in the next coming years. And if you think this team is fun now, which they are, they're going to be so much more fun 1, 2, 3 years down the road when all these young guys are in the lineup and in their prime. I can't wait. I'm very excited for that. But
when their Sabres are winning games casually 10-2, just remember that we called it right here on this podcast.
Right here, right now. Yeah.
Because in like maybe this year, but in 2 years, they're gonna be like regularly winning games like 9-2 or 9-3, and people are gonna be like, where did these like the Sabres? What the hell? And we're just be like, yeah, like that's the vision. That's my vision at least. Like kind of how like I think that they're just gonna be able to turn up and just put 7, 8, 9 goal games up. And that's what they want to do, honestly.
Yeah, like in Bills terms, the Sabres are just a couple years behind like the current Bills trajectory of being a top team. Like you think the Bills, what was it, 2019? They were just such a 2020. Like they were such a fun team, but still like under the radar a bit. With the year they first made,
they went 10-6 the 1 year, and that was like okay, they're good. And then when they go, like they had a little bit of expectations, but we were kind of all going into that next year like, okay, can Josh do this again? Like all that, and then they go 13, and that's where I feel like the Sabres are right now. Exactly, yeah.
They're going between that 10-6 and 13-3 year. I think take that big step, make the playoffs, go from there. But I don't know. No matter what happens, like the Atlantic is just a bloodbath. It's going to be a fun season to watch regardless. The team.
I was encouraged by Boston's departures in the last couple weeks. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, agreed. And Dwayne's new podcast, 2 Goalies on Mike with the Bruins people, just went out today. I think that'd be a fun listen to after this. Catch up on what the Bruins look like, how that's going to affect the Sabres this upcoming year. Because if the Sabres are going to make the playoffs, it's going to be because of the Bruins' downfall, I think. So we'll see.
Or the Leafs.
I'll take the Leafs too. Either or.
I'm not just I am a Leafs hater, very much so. But I'm not just a Leafs hater when I say Matthews having his eye potentially out the door is like the biggest like storyline in the NHL to me this year. Because that dude he could just demand a trade in December if he wanted to. I don't think he's staying there.
And it's weird because there's so many other NHLers who, are from areas with teams, but Matthews, since he's been drafted, has been just linked back to Arizona. Whether there's any truth to that or not, it's just always been around in a rumor.
Yeah.
And I just find it interesting because I love seeing Leafs fans in turmoil. Leafs fans in turmoil is like seeing the Dolphins in turmoil for Bills. It's like, you just like seeing it happen. Like they get a little bit of success. Everyone gets really happy. And it almost makes it mean a bit more when they almost fall on their face and, they're just going at each other online and the team's blowing up, stuff like that. Just makes it a little bit sweeter, especially for the Leafs, for the Dolphins, stuff like that. It's the best.
It is. It really is just that much. Just that chef's kiss. I'd give the Patriots right in there too. Wow. But yeah, I'm very interested to see like Arizona's an interesting one. I wasn't really even thinking about Arizona. I guess that makes all the sense. They have all the cap room. They're young as hell. I don't know where they're gonna play. That's the only thing I'm worried about is what he's gonna like his location that he wants to play in. But
should hopefully draw money.
Could he be a Buffalo Sabre in 2024? There's a lot of money there.
Yeah, I mean, right now the Sabres are.
If they didn't want to spend,
it's going to get ugly quick. Like in the next 3-4 years, that Sabres cap is going to go from having the most in the league. I think right now they're second most in the league, to pinch in every penny they possibly can, because these young guys are going to come in, produce, and want to get paid. Thankfully, Tage
But I think
Thompson
they could
the best deal in
fit
hockey.
one more if they wanted to, the way it's set up. And that might be, it might not be Matthews per se, but this summer I feel like is what it's for, is because this summer's so loaded that Adams just didn't want to spend a dime if he didn't have to this year.
Like, no, and you got some big extensions. Darling and Power got to get paid. They're looking for extensions this year. So lock those two up long term. You can build from that point out.
And then go
Who
from
cares?
there.
You got
that's true.
Your two cornerstones on the back end. So
all right. We're going to finish up here the same way I finished up with Jay Spence the King. I'm putting 83 seconds on the clock for the GOAT Andre Reed. And I'm going the same questions right in order. We'll see how far we get down. I think we got to like question 11 last time. Are you down to get to know?
I'm ready. Let's hit it.
All right. I don't know. Let's see. Make sure this gets up. I'm using a different timer this time. Just use the Google one. Let's see how it goes. All right. Can you see it there?
I'm ready. Yeah, I got it.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Favorite vacation city?
Oh, I just went to Nicosia in Cyprus. Loved it.
Ooh, nice. French toast, pancakes, or waffles?
Oh, waffles.
Oh, okay. Barbie or Oppenheimer?
Oh, I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet. Love Barbie, though, so I'm going to lock in Barbie.
Solid. Great movie. How much would you be willing to pay for a Taylor Swift ticket?
Well, I paid $120, which is,
I knew you went. How much would you have been willing to pay?
Oh, every dollar I have, which isn't too much right now. College is killing me. But, I mean, I might have cut off a finger or two. Left hand might have been a stub at that point. I would have sold them off.
Where did you go? Didn't you took a trip, right, to go?
Yeah, I was in Cyprus last month studying abroad. Went to Istanbul for a bit. That's probably my favorite city.
For Taylor, though, where did you see Taylor?
Oh, I saw her in Philly.
That's right. I thought you had flown somewhere. All right, we spent a lot of time on Taylor. LA or NYC?
NYC.
Okay, that's a trick question. It's Chicago. Jordan or LeBron?
Jordan.
If you could tag team with anybody at WrestleMania, who would it be? And this can be a wrestler, if you know wrestlers, or any celebrity or person, whatever.
Wrestler MJF. He'll get myself over, give myself a long career in wrestling. I'm going with him. Double close.
If you could have a match against anybody, who would it be?
Against anyone, I would say Dolphins fan Nikki Smokes. I would think I really like that one. Just make me feel put all the rings on one hand, and that'll feel good for me.
that'd be a main event WrestleMania match. We get Gatesy from Bill's Mafia behind you. We get a whole entrance, like the whole squad bringing you out. Nikki Smokes does stand a chance.
Josh Allen is my manager. Give it to me.
There it is. All right, great job. Thank you so much for joining here in a pinch. For all our listeners, find us at Pay the Bills Podcast. We're on the Trainwreck Sports feed, so check that out. Everything will be on the website. Check us out, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. I got that thing somewhere. Maniac plays it. I'm not going to do it. I'll just say it. Josh Allen can do it for Trainwreck tonight. That's it. We paid the bills. Thank you, Gatesy. Go Bills.
Go Bills. Thanks for having me.